Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dragyns Den. Pull up a seat next to the fire and let's get talking about talking. No, I am here today to talk to you guys about D&D again for the third week in a row. It's just the way I roll. But for this episode, we have a special guest and they will introduce themselves to you. So go ahead, Doc. Tell us all about you.
Hello, everyone. I am Eamon Doctor. Um, I am a Twitch streamer and a good friend of Dragon. And I play a variety of games and on stream, as well as some tabletop role-playing games. But I have, at the time of this recording, put a pause on that.
Yes. But yes, I've met Doc through Encounter Roleplay back in the day a few years ago when we played in a little bit of D&D together, and that was a lot of fun. So we've basically stayed connected, and we're here. Yeah, we're still friends, and we're still talking D&D, as you can tell. So, time. But yes, they do play a lot of fun things on their stream, especially Switch games, which I'm starting to get very addicted to thanks to some of their streams and things. So yeah, you might be careful. You might get addicted to Switch games if you watch Doc play. But yes, let's get into the actual topic of the day, D&D. So, Doc, tell me what got you interested into D&D? What made you want to play this silly game?
Let's see. Hey, Mom. When did we do? When was that? Uh, when did I do the Hobbit play? So you would say about 4 or 5 years ago? Okay, okay, thank you. So about 4 or 5 years ago, roughly. And for those who are listening in, I was just speaking to my mom because I'm living at home at the moment. um, she was. I had a friend who I went to a drama club with roughly 4 or 5 years ago, and we a friend was really into like variety of board games, tabletop. If you think of a game like a board game, most likely he had played it at least once. um, and his father, um, and as another little side note for everyone to understand the context here, I am on the autism spectrum, and this drama group is also a part of like a group that I go to or used to go to, like monthly, weekly, whatever. And the my friend's dad thought, you know, let's make a little group of friends to play Dungeons and Dragons. And this was when like I think I don't know how many edition books came out by then. I definitely know like for fifth edition, but I definitely know like the player's manual, like the monster manual and DM, or as well as the Horde of the Dragon
Yes.
Queen. And yeah, and by the time like any sort of got a group together for a few people from the drama group who does happen to be friends of mine and the friend of a group of little friends from that group, and then we just meet every week and a half, like every week, 2 weeks, to play Dungeons and Dragons. And at that time, I did not know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, and I played a character, my first ever tabletop character, and we went to like, and it was like really fun to learn how to, play. And that was like my first sort of experience with um, Dungeons and Dragons. Was through a friend, basically. Sums it up.
Really cool. You're very lucky that your first time playing was actually in person. Whereas,
Yeah.
me and Ro from last week, we did not start in person. We started online. So, very, very cool to hear a different kind of start and probably a more normal start to D&D, let's be real.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, what was your very first character? What was their name, their race, and just tell me more about that. Who's your very first character?
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh, good.
Um, because because I did not know anything about dungeon, like the only experience
Mm-hmm.
into like the fantasy genre, sort of, was if you heard me talking a little bit ago, um, I'm kind of into like the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. Uh,
Yes.
I'm not that big into like Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, but I do like it just because it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, I I thought, what is the most interesting character from my own perspective?
Hmm.
Also, I also played Skyrim back in that time as well. Now I'm thinking about it. Um, but yeah, I so I thought, hmm, I kind of want to play an elf. So I made my character a high elf cleric. Um, I don't know which domain or that I picked. Either light, life or light. Either one of those.
Okay.
Um, so it's just been a long time since I played that character.
No worries.
Um, and, uh, and I named him Legolas
Ah, yes.
out of all the characters from like it was just a shits and giggles sort of character. Like I thought like it's supposed to be fun. It's this group of friends, and it was a fun character to play.
Cool, cool. I think quite a few people I know also sort of really liked Lord of the Rings and that kind of genre of thing. So naturally, D&D fits that quite well with the fantasy world. So yes, next kind of question, and I'm sure you probably have a few memories over the years of some of your favorites. But what are your favorite character moments that your character has done, or that you decided your character wanted to do? What are some good moments that you had with your characters over the years?
Well, I think the earliest one would have been with the aforementioned Legolas, and it was light spoilers here. Just as a warning, but it's the book has been out for at least 4 to 5 years, so you know.
We're all fair. We're all good here, right,
um,
guys?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for let's see, I it was the chapter where you were supposed to save the go to the small encampment, and you would get, save the villagers, yada yada yada. And we were sort of everyone in the group was sort of got caught, and we all had to sort of persuade our way out of it. And out of everyone in the group, and I believe there was a bard, wizard, barbarian, a ranger, and then me, I believe. Me the cleric, if I remember how the group dynamic was set up. Yeah, everyone in the group other than me got like arrested.
Oh jeez.
And it's like, or not arrested, but like captured. And it was like, yes, me the cleric who did not have any real charming aspects to it, to my character, did not get caught. And I believe I did steal like the clothes off of like a cleric, the evil, quote unquote evil cleric, or the enemy cleric, to be more specific, to sort of blend in to the situation. And yeah, that was fun.
That's cool.
And the only other time I could think of that was a fun moment was I used to play a game on what's his name? The SS Adventurer.
Oh yes.
I don't know.
Captain something, right? Yeah, Captain.
Yep. And that was a long time ago. And I don't. This brings me to my second character.
Yes.
Which I love playing and I pick often, would be Aponia.
Yes.
My second character, or to be more precise, my second character as a part of a set of characters that I play.
Cool.
Who is a Forge player. And on his channel for this game, we played, we were in like a tavern, and there was this asshole guy. The DM was playing this like sort of asshole-y sort of character. Like he's meant to be like a sort of jackass character.
Yeah.
And at this point, I joined in sort of kind of late in the game, so I didn't know like the characters and NPCs that well. But I decided to, teach this guy a lesson.
Oh no.
And as many of people who play the Centaur race, Centaur, yeah. There is a charge mechanic. I decided, let's just go straight forward. And I just charged forward. Got like a high roll. on the attack, and then I sort of back hoofed him, and yeah, that was enough to make him pass out or
Okay.
knock him out for a good bit. But yeah, that was a fun experience of taking down a sort of jackass sort of character. Sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I have more of a story. One last little story that comes to mind at the moment of me not as a player, but me as a DM. Back when I was a DM, and or was able to play at and be a DM. I first campaign that I ever DM'd, which you can find on my YouTube. And trust me, it's not that good because when you expect a new DM, you don't expect it to be any good. I played. It was sort of few sessions in this one of the characters was a kobold,
Hmm.
and because of that, are not like a kobold who doesn't really know that much of religion, and I don't really put two and two together about religion stuff, and he I decided to dish out some loot after like one of the missions, and there I made this little amulet for like a deity that I'm forgetting who for who, and he sort of accurately looked at it and got some information about it, and it granted like a buff to and allow um one buff to what is it one like cantrip cleric cantrip of your
Okay.
choice, and the way he phrased it was um something along the lines of like grant you wiggly fingers, um, magic, wiggly magic fingers of the gods, something along that line. And I I bursted out laughing because that like to me that was a prime example of like you giving players sort of allowing them to sort of do their own thing, allowing them to sort of have like control their character in a situation, and just having like just making it a fun situation.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Naturally wiggly fingers of the gods. I may need to think of an NPC that can use that phrase now because that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. That's really fun. I love that. Alright, so now you've been playing D&D for quite some time. So, over the years, you've obviously played it, you've DM'd a little bit. What do you want to do now with D&D? Like, what are your plans to, like, take it further, or even any RPG kind of situation? What do you wish that you can do, or what are some goals that you have?
Uh, well, let's see. I know that um, there. I would like to try to. I just want to try to expand upon some more diverse options in the game, or on this, you know,
Yeah, what do you mean by
like
diverse options? Like more diversity in the game, more inclusion, or what do you mean?
both kind of,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Um, but like back in the like few months ago, or I'm forgetting how long. Definitely, a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, someone released um, a wheelchair, um, homebrew wheelchair option, and I believe this was back in August, June to August of last year, and I'll give Dragon the link to it if she wants to add them into the description of this podcast.
Absolutely. I was just
If
gonna
you want,
try to find it as well myself. So yeah, please send the link.
yeah, yeah, and I'll definitely do that if people are interested in it. Um, but yeah, it was an interesting addition to say the least. Like I love the concept and idea and all the harassment and hatred towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's completely justified to do that
Yeah.
because A, it's a fantastic homebrew, and B, it's goddamn Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
If you can understand the two concepts that this game is about, dungeons and dragons, I think you can get your hand out of your own, you know, out of your own butt and handle a goddamn homebrew item to allow people to play the game how they want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lovely item. But I was kind of thinking like, like, and I haven't checked it in quite a while, so maybe it was added. But and like, no offense to the creator of the homebrew, I love it, and I have used in every game that I DM. I said, like, you can be allowed to use this homebrew if you would like. Um, but like, how would you know? For the characters that have unique attributes to their body, such as centaurs. How
Mm-hmm.
would like I would like to see like an expansion on like how would a sort of wheelchair like aspect homebrew look like, because I know that there are some people who might want to play centaur in a wheelchair, and I know that concept is a little bit abstract. Yeah, I know, but I think that is an interesting concept to expand upon in the game. And like I said, not a huge nod. Not about this thing. This but I'm tossing that idea out there. So you know,
Yeah. I mean, I like it because D&D is such an old game, and I think
yeah,
the idea of it when it was first created was just like get out of your real life and like your situation and just play in a fantasy game where all that you ever dreamed of can be real kind of thing. But
yeah,
now, like, as the years are kind of going through and getting longer, and feels like they're getting longer. Let's be real, 2020 was like 8 years in general. But we're starting to realize that people aren't feeling very represented in a lot of these games that have been around for a long, long time. And when I first saw the combat wheelchair, I was blown away with it because I figured, wow, that is something a lot of people are probably missing from this space. Like for a variety of like disabled folk and just people who, you know, haven't seen that representation anywhere, really. And in most movies, there's a movie that someone was talking to me about the other day where, you know, this person got into an accident, they were forced to be in a wheelchair, but then the whole movie was based on trying to have him recover and like get out of the wheelchair. That's not fair representation. That's a bit almost unrealistic in a way, right? So when I saw this combat wheelchair, I was like, yes, we need this. Absolutely, we need this. And then there's been other really bigger campaigns that have used things like this as well that have been really unique. And I'm going to link everything down in the description because I'm basically plugging all of it. But in High Rollers D&D, they're going through a campaign called Arrowist right now. And they have a character who was missing a wing. They're an Aarakocra, they're a bird. And there was a huge accident that unfortunately the bird, like the Aarakocra, the character, went through that accident, lost a wing, and now is actually playing the character that way and having to remember, right, climbing is actually going to be difficult for me because I only have one arm. Or one wing, I guess, because birds. But, and the way he played was really neat because, I mean, unfortunately the campaign took a weird twist where they mechanically created an arm to help support, or a wing to support him. So, I kind of went to that fixing idea again, which is unfortunate, but still, the way the player actually played the character, obviously he has two arms. But whenever he played live in front of everyone, he would take that arm that he had missing from his character, tuck it behind his back. And so he would actually roll his dice and play the game that way. And I figured, you know, that is neat, right? Because it's one thing for you just to say that you're playing a character with a missing wing and not do anything about it, like representative wise. But for him to actually take that arm, tuck it way behind his back to look like he's missing it, and like acting like his character would, I thought that was really neat. So there's that. I think we need more of that for sure. And yeah, and definitely there's just so much you could talk about when it comes to that. So maybe we'll do another podcast about disabilities and minorities in D&D because it's a really interesting topic because there's not a lot of representation that's fair right now until really the last couple of years where people are starting to like have different kinds of relationships in the game where, you know, we are seeing same-sex like marriages in the game and that kind of thing. Like we're finally getting to that point. It just sucks that it's taken this long to get there. That's my thought. So with all of that kind of ramble, for you, Doc, what has D&D taught you? Like, what has D&D given to you in your life?
I think what I can really get out of Dungeons and Dragons, and really tabletop in general. I think what I can really get out of Dungeons and Dragons, and really tabletop in general. This is a personal philosophy that I sort of change up just a little bit for everything, but in general, if there's sort of a three-way road when it comes to table, like making a game fun and inclusive. Yeah, three-way road to make a game fun and inclusive for everyone at the table. Like, an understanding between, like, the main role being an understanding being like having like a understanding of, you know, between the players and the DM. At, the DM understanding players' wants and needs, and sort of morphing around that, but still having a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of the third road being, you know, any sort of like potential, you know, future events that might. Oh, the third road is sort of like change it up a little bit every time I do it, but in general, like, you know, making sure the table is, you know, understanding of, you know, what makes a game fun, sort of,
Hmm.
and doing what the table needs. So, for example, if you and a group of friends want to play, I don't know, a one shot where uh, everyone is like, um, like a uh, goblin or kobold, like, and just making them all bards, and just con yourselves like the merry folk of the of the bards, and just going out and doing like a sort of one shot um bard's tale, as you can say. You would understand like, oh, the DM must understand like, hey, these guys want to just screw around, just want to play, and the players should sort of know like, hey, let's just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not try to screw around too much if the DM wants to, you know, kind of want to focus on, you know, not going too goofy with their playing, or else like, you know, would sort of screw up too much of the fun. And I know Dungeons and Dragons, aha, funny to screw up the DM's plan, but players should sort of, you know, understand at least somewhat that the DM sort of has a certain path, even for like a one shot where it's a little bit more loose with the rules.
Hmm.
Um, like there's supposed to be a sort of set boundaries without limitation. Of like, it's no fun if the group decides, let's just blow up town, this vacant town, and you the you as the DM just wants them to explore town, find the hidden treasure in this small shop. Like, I set everything up, but like, and and then sort of like the third row being like, oh, okay, let's meet in the middle. If you guys want to, you know, do something, like, let's try to make this interesting for everyone. So I lost my train of thought there. But yeah.
No, yeah, I think I get you because D&D makes you really want to work with your players and with your friends, really, like whoever you're playing with, to like try to decide on what you want to do, really. And I think that session zero is so important because you can learn what the players want to do in this campaign or one shot. If they want to just be murder hobos, then I guess you're going to be doing a lot of murder hoboing. But yeah, it's the idea of compromise and working together that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's really great. That's a lot of really important things to like really take to heart, and maybe why people should play D&D. But um yeah, I wow. My brain was like, what question are we on? But I guess the next part, like if you can think about school and like your life and just like your friendships and things like that in general, how has D&D helped you? Like in that regard.
Ooh, well, because of Dungeons and Dragons, um, as sort of like a pretense story,
Mm-hmm.
um, I did the first campaign with the group of friends, sort of in person. That was my first experience. The friends moved away, and I sort of put down tabletop games until I don't know when me and Dragon sort of. I think that was my first game I played I um, since playing with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, because of that, I sort of got into the tabletop online tabletop community, and then one thing after the other, I sort of expanded the scope of people that I know, made friends, including Dragon. You know, yeah. Over the years, I um, I haven't really. I still am in communications with the friends um, online. We're still, you know, every once in a while I do check in with them to see how they're doing. Um, but it's nice to meet new people, make new friends who are into the same sort of stuff, as well as learning from them, you know, variety of other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even I didn't realize how many different kind of RPGs there are out there, like tabletop RPGs. I just assumed D&D was the one all end all for TTRPGs for quite a while. But even just like especially when Encounter Roleplay was super big that while for a long time there, you realize that all the shows that they were hosting, I was like, oh, this is like D&D, but you use like different dice and there's different rules. Huh, neat. Oh, this game is way different than D&D and it's so cool. So you even get to learn more about what kind of games are out there. So it's really, really neat. I definitely think there's a lot to learn in this little community of ours.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little sales pitch to end this. I love doing this, and Ro was really fun to do this last time, so I hope you have fun with it as well. But Doc, why do you think people should get involved in D&D? Why do you think they should play?
I think people should start out with Dungeons and Dragons,
Yes.
or at least start out with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, because there's a lot of variety of homebrew options that will allow you to play the character that you want. Do you want to be Tom Nook from Animal Crossing?
Oh my god.
Well, let me tell you, there is a Tanuki homebrew race that will allow you to play Tom Nook,
Oh my gosh.
the bard.
Ah, I love it.
And the aforementioned wheelchair. You want more diversity and more inclusion at your table? Then look at on over to the combat wheelchair, which will allow you and your friends to have more variety of options to play your characters.
Yeah, I love that. There, and it's really great to have a whole bunch of kinds of people play the game too for that reason of diversity and inclusion as well. So we need you guys. You gotta play. Thank you, Doc, so much for this episode. This was a lot of fun hearing your experiences and lots to learn. And I'm really glad to have more of a discussion on diversity and inclusion. That was really important. So I'm really glad we had that.
Yeah, same. I enjoyed that conversation with
Excellent.
you about that.
Yes. All right. Well, Doc, this is your chance to plug what you're working on, what you're doing right now. So go ahead. The floor is yours. And honestly, y'all should follow this lovely human being because, yes.
um, Again, hello. I am Amanda. Um, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, pretty much anywhere, even SoundCloud, which is kind of old, I know. Um, uh, you can find me there under the same banner uh, as Amon Doctor. But you can mainly find me on Twitter and under that same name. And what I got in the pipe works right now.
Yes.
I am rescheduling around some of my stuff since I am back at college. But hopefully I can get back into being a DM. Big asterisk soon.
What are you DMing right now? Like what game? Is it homebrew or a campaign?
Homebrew campaign.
Ooh.
But I had to cancel. Sort of had to cancel 2 of them. 2 out of the 3. That's because everyone else had to. Is a little bit busy with their scheduling, so because of that, can't really get situated with getting new people. But yeah, the last one that's still sort of on the table, really homebrew sort of thing where we are going through Moonshire.
Ooh.
The Moonshire Isles, which is near the Waterdeep, where pretty much every official Dungeons and Dragons one shot sort of takes place.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much that doing a campaign of that. And when I'm not DMing, you can see me playing variety of Nintendo games on Twitch. Because I do, and maybe PS3 if I can somehow figure out how to do it. But yeah, just find me on Twitch, Twitter, and also a little thing. I am I know it's sort of a joke now, but I am a VTuber.
Right. I remember you experimenting with a lot of that. So tell us more about VTubing. I don't know anything about it, so this might be interesting for you guys.
So for those who are not in the know-how, it's a virtual tracking of your face onto a 3D model. So think of it as how like movie studios sort of use 3D um, um, mapping of placing sort of like like a suit, a green suit, or like visually grafting um, like a face over a human. So a good example of this would be Avatar, where they used to they digitally added like 3D models over people's faces, and it's sort of like that. But the items that the software items, things that we use, or at least what I use, are a few steps behind that. For example, the lovely folks over at HoloLive, the idol group, um, and one of the other major examples, Hatsune Miku, I think,
Yep.
are sort of the two major examples of being a virtual YouTuber, if anyone sort of remembers or knows about that.
Yeah, good examples. I was thinking as you were talking Hatsune and Miku as well, so very, very cool. And I like Doc's models, so if you wanna like definitely see that as like they work more on it, definitely. It's really cool. I like it. Super cute. Alrighty, we had a lovely episode. We talked a lot of D&D and experiences, and I really appreciate that, Doc, because I think bringing more to the table and bringing more of these conversations are super important to this amazing game and the world of TTRPG.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No worries. So, all of the things we talked about today will definitely be in the description below. So, go check out everything from Mustang Art, who worked on the Combat 2 wheelchair, to High Rollers, and basically the first 90 episodes were a really good example of just again another disabled character, like mainstream character for D&D. And yeah, just everything else. And of course, go check out Doc. They are working on a lot of cool things right now and streaming Breath of the Wild, for example. Like, there's just a lot going on, and I really love the streams. Check it all out. It's all in the description. And of course, my things will be down there too if you really care. So, check all of it out. It's in the description. Again, thank you, Doc, for hanging out. And we are done for today. So, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye.